Hi everybody and welcome to the live stream. So I hope you guys are having a good time, and this is going to be a bit of fun. We haven't done a Pulsechain video for a little while, so we're going to get straight into this one, and hope you guys are having a good time. Let me just check the audio. Yeah, it looks seems to be going pretty well. So welcome. Let's get straight into Pulsechain discussion. It's going to be exciting. Pretty amped for it. So let's see what we got. Some chats in there. Business M2K. What's up? What up? Yeah, definitely. Pulsechain is up for sure. So we're going to check this out. Alex K, our moderator's in the house. Pulsechain, yay. Audio is good, says Alex. So very cool. Audio is good. So let's get straight into it. We've got quite a few things to talk about. Obviously, the title of today's video is, let's have a quick look, the future of Pulsechain. The future of Pulsechain. And we're going to look at Testnet news for Pulsechain. Sacrifice, we're going to talk about that briefly for people that are not so familiar. Mainnet, Pulsechain Mainnet, of course, following after Testnet, and of course, adoption and performance. So we're going to generally talk about those things as well. It's going to be a bit of fun as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Get into the chat there, of course, and get into the discussion. Really do appreciate that. I'm just going to change one feature on this live stream. Just let me update that quickly and get into this just a moment. We're going to just update the features, and very cool. Hope you guys have been having a good time. Now the market's pretty much holding steady. Bitcoin's back a little bit. Ethereum holding strong at 2100. So that's good news for everybody. I hope you guys enjoying that. All right, let's get straight into the news today. All right, don't get too distracted here. We're going to jump over here and get into it. So here we are. We're on the pulsechain.com site. Now, obviously, Pulsechain is going to be a fork of Ethereum, and it's also going to copy the system state over of all the ERC20 tokens as well for the vast majority of coins and tokens on there. Basically, awesome. It's going to be awesome, or tokens, I should say. It's going to be pretty outstanding. The other side of it is, of course, that's the second phase, is the mainnet fork launch. The first phase is going to be the sacrifice phase. A lot of people still not familiar with that, but basically people are going to sacrifice coins and tokens into a sacrifice address, not get it back, and basically they will then expect nothing, but of course down the line they'll get something like a Pulse coin. So that's going to be pretty exciting, and that's where the vast majority are going to be in there. So we're going to see the actual final parameters of that when it actually launches. So that's going to be pretty fun stuff. I imagine it's going to launch pretty quickly. I'm expecting it to launch myself, the sacrifice phase, within the next week or two for sure now, based on Richard's last video where he said that it's getting pretty close, and also they want to get up there before Ethereum really gets going with their forks as well. So pretty exciting stuff on that. This is the Pulsechain site, pulsechain.com. I'll leave it in the chat for people to have a look at. JJ, Crypto's accent is going to be on Pulsechain. We don't know. We don't think so at this stage, JA, but we just don't know until it actually comes out, and we'll find out the actual final tokens on there. Possibly Axion and Axion and Wise are probably two candidates that may not be on there, but we're here to talk about Pulsechain because we think it's a pretty exciting opportunity. So let's get straight into that. All right, let's go. We're going to go to this is the website. I've just posted it in the link. Get into that. If you're not familiar with it, read it. I've got previous videos, of course, covering Pulsechain, the basics, but we're going to get into the news today. So the first news we want to talk about is Pulsechain Testnet. So here we are. We're going to go to Twitter. This is Richard Hart, the founder of Hex and the founder of Pulsechain, and basically there's the comment there. It just came out in the last 24 hours, actually 15 hours ago to be precise. Hey guys, just a heads up for you, for good folks in the chat here, talking about the Pulsechain Telegram. The devs say they're nearly ready to launch the public testnet. Things are so close. All right, so that's pretty awesome. Hey guys, just a heads up for you good folks in chat here. The devs, that's the developers, they say they're nearly ready to launch the public testnet. Things are so close. So it's getting there, folks. Really exciting. And so that's the big news out in the last 15 hours. Pretty exciting stuff. The testnet is pretty close. It's getting real. It's getting tangible. We've talked about it for several weeks now, but now it's really starting to take hold, the reality of basically Pulsechain coming along down the pipeline. So first of all, they have a testnet, and then after that, if there's any issues, they'll fix those, and then they'll go to mainnet. So that mainnet is that when it's live running. Pretty awesome stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now coming back to Pulsechain, obviously Pulsechain is going to be pretty amazing. Some of the key features, of course, is it's going to be the largest airdrop in history with all the ERC20 tokens copied over. So pretty nice stuff like that. Now, the value is not going to be the same. The value is not going to be the same. There's going to be the biggest gold rush in history, pretty much, I mean, in history. And basically, it's going to be discovering what the value of those tokens are. But they will have some form of value because the Pulse coin itself will be the biggest form of discovery. When these coins are interlinked, there's already value implied in those linkages, and if there's a bridge over to the ETH chain, then there's a value linked into the Ethereum network. So this all links around, all interconnected. Pretty exciting stuff for there. So it's going to be huge discovery as people try to accumulate the Pulse version of the ETH ERC20 tokens, for example, and that's what the game is on. Now, obviously, for the sacrifice address, people are trying to get them as much Pulse as they can, and that's really trying to be become a whale in Ethereum. If you were early days on Ethereum, trying to do that on the Pulse chain, so it's going to be a pretty exciting times. Now, Richard did mention also in his previous live stream that he's actually had some big historic projects that are quite big in crypto. Already said basically leaders from those projects already indicating to him that they're going to be going into sacrifice address. So there is a lot of excitement, pretty broad, I think. Also, the Telegram for Pulse Chain is bigger than obviously the golden child, the Hex Telegram. So very exciting stuff going on there. And obviously, we're talking about it on this channel. So it's going to be pretty huge. Now, this is all about Pulse Chain, not about other stuff. This is just purely about Pulse Chain, and I think it's pretty exciting. So Testnet's coming along. Let's quickly go into the chat. Have a quick look at some chat before we move on to the next topic. So we just talked about Testnet, very exciting. Axion is going to, we talked about that one with JA, so very cool. JA, gotcha. And Hexel, Ed's in the chat. Woohoo! Good one. Hey, Superman, good to see you early enough. I could join. Love the Pulse Chain talk. This is going to be huge. It's going to be huge, folks. Definitely is. And hit the like button. It helps. Yes, hit the like button. And join JA on that one. And Gold Rush, whoop, whoop. Yeah, lol, lol. So that's pretty awesome. Now, some of the interesting, we're going to look at a couple of other things that maybe you hadn't thought about, or maybe it's good just to talk about them on this live stream. And so it's going to be pretty fun. And let's go into that. Just got to make sure my mouse works as usual. Alex will get me for that one for sure. All right, so let's go over here. So we've already talked about the testnet. That's coming. It's getting real. Now, let's also talk about some of the other things that are going on at the moment. So obviously, Ethereum's been forked before, and one of those, of course, is Ethereum Classic here. And you can see the clearing Ethereum Classic is worth $54. Pretty amazing stuff. So we've also talked about the sacrifice procedure very quick, and I think that's coming up very soon. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about following that will be Mainnet. So Mainnet is going to come after the sacrifice and a snapshot. So then that's coming up, and we're going to talk about adoption and performance and Mainnet. So here's some forks at the moment. So you've got Ethereum Classic. That's worth $54.34 at the moment. Market cap, 7 billion market cap. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, that's pretty huge. Now, if we go out of Ethereum Classic, we can also go into Ethereum itself, and you can see Ethereum itself, market cap is 248. So you're talking about 9 billion. If you're just using that as a blunt instrument to valuation, you're talking about 9 billion for Ethereum Classic. And we're going to pull up the calculator there. So 9 divided by, let's clear that, divided by 248, let's say 248. That's basically 3.6%, but we think that obviously the Pulse chain is going to probably get even ramped up more valuable than that, but we don't know. There's going to be a massive price discovery and a big gold rush, not only on Pulse coin, which is the equivalent of Ethereum on the Pulse chain, but also all the ERC20 versions, which are Pulse ERC20s on the Ethereum blockchain. Pretty awesome stuff. Lots of exciting stuff. There's also going to be issues around liquidity pools, also issues around bridges as well, having bridging. Now, obviously, people can build on top and add bridges on as well. There's obviously going to be all the copies over, but there's also going to be new projects that go on to Pulse Chain. It's going to offer some very exciting things. And the other big thing, of course, is there's some features on the Pulse Chain that we won't know until they actually launches, and that Richard's got up his sleeve, as it were, and he says they're pretty exciting stuff and people would not have seen them before. Pretty outstanding stuff on that. So awesome, looking forward to it. Now, we do know that already on the Pulse chain that it's going to have increased Ethereum. It's going to be 4x throughput than Ethereum because they're going to be using 3-second block times, and obviously Ethereum's got around about 13-second block time. So pretty awesome stuff going on there. All right, so we're only just getting started talking about Pulse chain at the moment because we've got a few more things to talk about. So it's going to be pretty fun. Now let's quickly go to the next thing. Is that so? We've talked about like Ethereum Classic, other forks that are out there, and we've got some valuations. They're all pretty worth billions of dollars, so pretty exciting. Now the other thing we're going to talk about is there are other blockchains coming out at the moment. So the market's getting busy with blockchains. Some of them have been around since like earlier this year, but they're really only just starting to launch their tokens and stuff like that, and they're really starting to manifest, I guess. You've got let me just get up the mouse work. We've got stuff like CSPR is running. You've got which is Casper. That's building out a DEX, building out a wallet. So they're still behind the times with some of the interconnectivity, but those things are coming up super cheap, obviously valued at the moment. And once those come out, you've got Wise tokens going on to Casper, shortly building out a DEX, stuff like that. So you've got all this development happening with these new forks that are already ETH 2.0s. They're already super fast and super powerful, building on the smart contracts on top of them, etc. Then you've got stuff like Etherlight, which just launched its finished its ICO yesterday. It's launching pretty soon, pretty imminently, launching as its token as well, ETL as well. So you've got these other forks going on. So it's not alone. There's a lot of activity here. All of them are trying to beat out Ethereum. So there's stuff like that's going on. But of course, you've also got Ethereum itself. Ethereum itself is trying to race and evolve itself. And so you've got the London EIPs on at the moment. So you've got EIP 1559 doing dynamic pricing and also fee burning, stuff like that, which is already, Pulsechain's already got that built into it, right? So pretty awesome stuff. We go back to Pulsechain. We've already got that in here. We've got Pulsechain has 0% inflation, right? Validators only earn fees, and 25% of the fees are burnt to reduce the circulating supply. So Richard wants to have Pulsechain up and running before Ethereum really gets going with this stuff as well. That just adds more value, implied value into Pulsechain. So very cool stuff. You can see that there's really is not just a gold rush on for Pulsechain, but a gold rush to get a new ETH 2.0 to really, to get you can't just have the technology, you've got to have the ecosystem and the community around it as well, which is part of the strength of Pulsechain, right? Because it's such a big community sitting around it. So pretty exciting stuff there. All right, especially after the success of Hex as well. So you've got that going on at the moment. So you've got all these forks. You've also got, look at that, you've got Ethereum trying to move to Ethereum 2.0. You can see that here, which is in 3 phases. They've already started phase 0, which was launched on the 1st of December 2020, and they created the beacon chain proof of stake, right? Moving from proof of work to proof of stake, coming over here at the moment. So central coordination, centralized hubs of ETH 2.0. The phase 1, of course, is shards, creating shard chains, connect them to the beacon chain, right, to get up the speed so they can improve their TPS, which we know is pretty small at the moment. That's why we get all those high congestion prices as soon as the market really starts to increase the number of transactions. And then the final phase, phase 2, implement state execution of shard chains, and with the current Ethereum 1.0 chain expected to become one of the shards of Ethereum 2.0. But of course, that's taking a lot longer. And based on Vitalik's last update interviews, that's just taking much longer to happen. It creates a huge opportunity for all these other technologies, particularly Pulsechain, with the big community around it as well, and new technology features coming in to really hit the ground running hard. So that comes back once again to the gold rush, to the price discovery, to the sacrifice phase, getting on those post coins. I'm feeling pretty bullish about it. I think it's pretty exciting and a big community happening. So those are really some of the main things that I wanted to talk about. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Let's quickly go to, I think I'll move back a bit there. So yeah, that's pretty exciting stuff. So let me know in the chat what you think and other things that you've heard. Now, obviously the last video that Richard did was 3 days ago, and he gave he was talking to an XRP developer. So that was pretty entertaining. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out. I think that was pretty awesome. But once again, it's getting closer. We're getting closer. I feel that the Pulsechain sacrifice has got to be within the next 10 days. So I think that's going to be happening pretty fast, especially with this with the testnet now being launched. Obviously, we're quite a few weeks into it now. One of the big things, of course, is the market prices. I'm pretty sure that Richard wanted to get these moving up higher. Obviously, the higher the crypto market's valued, the higher that Pulsechain will get valued too. especially it's not just the high values, but also the momentum. If we're on an upward trend momentum, the higher. So Richard was talking about Bitcoin hitting 55 a lot. So that's where we're at. Also, we've talked about the Wickoff pattern, moved out of that. So and some people saying that the shorters ran out of steam. So you got a lot of stuff going on there. Obviously, some big whales manipulating as well, leveraging a Bitcoin, borrowing Bitcoin, all that sort of stuff going on. So it really is a complex place to work out, but I think Richard was kind of waiting for that to happen. So far, we have actually had a nice move of Ethereum back up over 2,000. That was pretty good. Bitcoin actually went to 36,500. Has pulled back though to 33,666. So we'll see how that plays out over the next 10 days or so. But I feel it's pretty coming. We've also got Richard was talking about he really wanted to beat out Ethereum with the fee burning stuff in the last one. So if we interpret that correctly, then you're really looking at coming in before mid-July is my expectation for the sacrifice phase. So that's where I'm getting my deadline from. Obviously, with the fork coming up here, which is this EIP 1559, expected to, as we can see, the London upgrade is scheduled to go live in Ethereum on July 2021. So that's giving me that time frame there for that. All right, so pretty awesome stuff. Let's have a quick look back at the chat here. Alex K says your prediction for July the 4th or 5th still stands. No, so it could easily be that, but that would be pretty imminent. We know it's just going to be imminent. So the 4th of July would be a cool date to say it, but really within the next 10 days is kind of my feeling at the moment. And the biggest thing for that, of course, is the market prices, as I've just talked about. My expectation around these market prices, whether there's more momentum. I do think this is an adequate level to launch Pulsechain. I do believe it's adequate, but if he wants to really obviously get the momentum, you know how crypto is really about momentum, and if we've got all that going, like I say, I always use the stadium. If the stadium is filling back up with people, then it's a much more exciting place to be, as opposed to if the stadium is emptying out of people, say after a game show. So it's kind of like that. But I do think this is an adequate level to launch. I mean, if Ethereum was below 2,000, that's actually kind of a weakness at the moment. So definitely, if it went back down to where potentially it could have gone, $1,100-$1,200 was kind of the expectation, but it has managed to bounce out of it at the moment. So it could be on a move back up to another place. We're just getting a few sideways movements at the moment, but we'll watch out for that. So yeah, but this is definitely bullish with this testnet coming out, very ready to launch, and that would create a lot of excitement for doing the sacrifice launch as well. If you got the public testnet and the sacrifice going on at the same time, really creates a value lift. If you get my point, got to be careful with the hands, but you get my point. I think that's pretty exciting. All right, 4th of July would have been good though. Would have been good. Still might be. You never know, because we don't know when it's going to exactly launch. He says it's going to be, pretty much a surprise. I did see that there was a survey. In there for that. Alex K. So it's worth waiting for better market. I believe so. But I think the market at the moment is adequate to launch. But I definitely think a slightly better market would be better. Particularly an upward moving market. So if you saw Ethereum started to tackle 3,000, that might be a trigger point. My view, I do it at this level, but I think he might just wait. He might just keep waiting those days. It also gives the team, obviously, his last comment too about the sacrifice was that they just had a few front end things to do, and that was about it. So I think they've done a lot of sacrifice addresses, and they've been working on that for a little while. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty optimistic about that. Man, 4th of July would be pretty cool. You could do some cool marketing around that for sure. And yeah, and Alex says just wait for the first green day. We'll do. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so to quickly look at the price of Hex at the moment. Hex is obviously off just a little bit. Obviously, when you get those lulls, this is a bit what I was talking about the price lulls. We get Hex is currently sitting about 7.5 cents. So it's just pulled off a little bit. You can see that here in the daily candle. When you get these lulls, when we're waiting for the sacrifice phase, and it's already been quite a few weeks, you get a bit of a drag on the price, although it's still holding up pretty well in my view at the moment. We've still got a higher low as well. We were down at 6.7 cents around there, which was actually really tested the place where we thought it might go, 6.3, 6.4. So it's actually looking pretty good. The other side of it is that with this low liquidity, it's easy to move the price up or down. So we're getting a lot of little buys going into Hex, but we're getting a few sells that are bigger than a lot of those buys. That's why you get the prices just going down on there. So interesting stuff. The other thing, of course, is that the reason Hex is an easy one to move for the USD. So imagine when the sacrifice address comes out, this is really going to go, it's going to fire up, and we may blow past that 10 to 12 cent mark. It could be quite crazy to see that, especially with the sacrifice phase on, where people trying to ramp up the value of Hex and also the US dollar amount, because US dollar for the sacrifice is the main game for you as an individual. How much USD you're going to be sacrificing, because that's going to be in the data set compared to everybody else. And that's what's going to help determine how much pulse you're going to get. Remember, the ratio is going to be about 10,001 for Ethereum. So that's what we're looking at the moment. All right, so yeah, looking good. Let's have a quick look at, I think that was the last thing I want to say on that one. Not sure what we're up to here. So let me know if you've got any questions in the chat there, for sure. How long we've been going here. Let me just refresh the chat. 21 minutes, so not too bad. Probably end up going for a little bit longer. I'm doing another live stream slightly later. We're going to be doing it covering Axion token marketing update and stuff like that, so you can check that out later on in the show if you're involved in Axion. So let me just check that. So looking good. I see a lot of also the Hexkins that came back from their first meetup, MASH meetup, so that was pretty successful. So you can check out some of those things. And the Hexicans are doing a lot of live streams at the moment around Pulsechain too, so it's very topical. The word is spreading for sure, especially in these lull periods, so it's going to be a lot of fun there. All right, well, it seems like that's a bit of a wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Really the biggest news, of course, was the potential value. I might just do a quick little sum up there, and let's go to, so we had the big testnet is coming. That's going to be really cool. That really puts more pressure on the sacrifice address running. Obviously, if they have a few issues, there won't be much delay between the end of the sacrifice period and so forth. Now, we think the actual sacrifice period is going to be probably 14 days rather than 30 days. So Richard made a mention about being half as long, so we'll see whether that is the case. Also, the parameters will be known too at the time, so people are going to be scurrying around for information. Obviously, go to the official sites. There are a lot of scammers out there. Don't get played by scammers. Go to the official sites, and Richard Hart, etc., Telegram group, etc. And get the information when sacrifice comes on, because you want to have, it's going to be a website, you want to have the right website to be logging onto and sacrificing your precious USD equivalents of tokens. So make sure that's my final sort of thing. We want everyone to have a good time, not a bad time in this experience. So yeah, very cool. So that's coming up, and obviously there's probably a bit cheaper to pick up Hex at the moment, so that's pretty cool if you want to pick up Hex bags in anticipation. Obviously not financial advice, do your own due diligence. And the markets are looking okay at the moment. It would be really nice if they start to rally a bit. That would probably bring on the sacrifice a bit faster too. Yeah, I think that's about it really. So it's going to be fun times ahead. And if we get any more information, we're going to do some more live streams for sure and get into it. Let's quickly final check there. So that looks like good. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Now, do join me later on doing another specialty live stream. I say specialty, it's really the wrong word, but I'm going to be doing another special topic later on about Axion marketing update, which came out over the night. So we're going to talk about that. In fact, that probably won't be too far away, probably in another half an hour or so. Yeah, so Space D, before we leave, Space D007 says how sacrifice will be done. They're going to have a special website that you're going to be able to log on to and nominate your network, your token, and sacrifice your tokens to that address, and that will get registered for you. And once the end of the sacrifice phase is finished, you'll then get that will get all recalibrated, all the sacrifices, and then they'll be able to allocate the Pulse tokens to you. Obviously, you sacrifice expecting nothing. You're giving away your tokens. You won't have them after you've sacrificed them. They're gone. So you're supposed to expect nothing under the Howey test. And so that's what's going to happen. So just to be very clear about that, once you sacrifice them, they're gone burger. But of course, you're going into it unexpectedly for something effectively like a Pulse coin. So that's the way it's going to play out. And then once that finishes, of course, they'll probably have a claim function on that. So The special website is known, or it will be announced later. It's going to be announced later when the sacrifice phase gets announced. That's the first phase. First phase, sacrifice. Second phase is the mainnet. In between, there'll be a snapshot as well of your tokens that are on the ETH chain. So that once we find out sacrifice, that's the first main one. We're going to get, there'll be a website, and we have to go to official sites only. Don't do any scammer knocks on your door. Just ignore them all, delete them, report them, whatever. Don't fall for anything. You'll wait for the go to the official sites. For Richard Hart, he'll announce it. He will announce it probably live on YouTube, and not probably, he will announce it live on YouTube. Sacrifice will go ahead, no doubt. Is what we've been told so far. So pretty exciting. Space says one ETH scarily will give 10,000 pulse. So it's going to be based on the US dollar amount that's sacrificed. But the equivalence of the number of tokens around equivalent around 1 ETH to 10,000 pulse is the ratio. But the actual sacrifice is going to be based around the US dollar amount that people sacrifice. So it does kind of work out indirect that way. Sacrifice, sorry, yep. So you can sacrifice, it's the US dollar amount that matters. Doesn't matter what token you're sacrificing, it's the US dollar amount is what is key. So you're sacrificing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 500 bucks, whatever. It's really the US dollar amount that's going to be matters at the moment. That's the gamification so far that we've been in the Telegram group. So yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. We're going to get the final gamification, of course, for the sacrifice period when the actual site launches. So that sacrifice day 1 versus 2, 3 is the same. Well, we don't know that for sure. So we believe so. We believe pretty much earlier the better. But some people are going to average in over day 1, 2, and 3. So we'll just have to wait and see till the final gamification comes out. But that's what we believe would be the case. The first week is probably going to be the most important. Then we understand that there was going to be a penalty, 4.25% every day after that. But we're also getting the idea that that may not be a 30-day sacrifice period, but maybe a 2-week sacrifice period. So we're really waiting for clarity on that too. So we'll find out soon enough. Alex K says, I'm guessing the website will be from pulsechain.com, but wait for Richard Hart to confirm the launch. Yeah, absolutely, Alex, 100%. So got to be, because this is a sacrifice, you have to be very careful that you use the official sites. All right, so basically you're going to log on with your, say, your MetaMask wallet, and that's what you're going to do. But just remember to be very careful that's official. Don't take word of mouth, this or that. Just go to the official sites and so forth. And obviously subscribe to Richard Hart's YouTube channel if you want to get the latest update there. Put the bell notification on. Get into the Pulsechain group. Make sure it's official one. Now you can go to hex.com or pulsechain.com. As I've put into the screen in the chat there, you can actually go to that. Now Alex K says, based on screenshots, you will be generating your own address for sacrifice. That's correct. Yeah, not anything some stranger gives you. That's correct. Yeah, well said. Yeah, that's good. So we actually, if you look in the previous video that we did, we actually looked at the screenshots that are already out. In fact, they might still be up on here. Well, let me scroll down. Not sure if they were on this one here. I'll scroll down Richard Hart's. Scroll down there. Not sure if they were on this one. Richard posting a lot because of the Hex meetup. Oh, right. No, can't see any. Yeah, don't have them here live, but if you check out the previous video we did on this channel on Pulsechain, we've got the screenshots of the sacrifice UI, the user interface for that. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Yeah, so you will probably create your own addresses for that. Looks like to be the case. Rick in Hill 5. Let's quickly go some of these comments. So we've gone through all these. And Hex, yeah, we've gone through that one. And not anything, some strange news, absolutely. And Rick in 305, hi, good to see you, Rick in 305. Great to see you. Hey, this is really great, but we're going to end up wrapping this up. So I guess the main one there, DO7's got another question there. So we'll have to, for unknown reason, I cannot connect any more to Pulse Telegram, maybe banned for unknown reason. Is there a way to get a readmit to the Telegram? Thanks. Yeah, so there probably was some reason that maybe Trigger Happy banned you from there. So that happens to quite a few people these days. So not really sure. Yeah, pretty cool. And so yeah, just check that out. What what I would suggest is go to the website on Pulsechain, go to Telegram, and then look for an admin on there, and then DM the admin directly, space D007. That's probably the best way to do. Accidentally being deleted from the chat and get yourself back on there. That's probably the best way. 305 says, whatever happened to Axion? This is about Pulsechain. Axion's doing perfectly fine. Check out that we're going to do a live stream on Axion update in probably a little while. So check that out, Rick 305. And space D007. Thanks, bro. No, you're welcome. So all the best. Okay, they're going to end this live stream, folks. Thanks very much for joining me. And Pulsechain's super exciting. I'm super stoked about it. Alex, our chief moderator, he's excited too. It's going to be fun times. We're going to do our best to get as much information out to you as well. We think there's a big opportunity. So very cool. Now, do subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell, of course, for further videos. And we've got a lot of great different videos on this channel. Now, I'm going to be doing another live stream probably in a short while on the Axion token marketing update, so you can find out all about that if you want to as well. So very cool. All right, thanks very much, Space 007 and J8 Cryptos. Peace out there. Enjoy crypto land. I'll be back on here in no time at all. I've just got to obviously set up for the next video. Very cool. I'll also be doing an auction video later on in the day where we cover the Axion auctions, which are pretty fun to watch. It's a pretty fun watching ETH going into the pool. All right, catch you then. Thanks, Alex, again, and catch you soon. Actually, it's going to be sooner than you think. All right, cheers.